influence necessarily, or a main influence, rather than having
Yeah.
like your parents or someone else or a moral authority telling you what's right and wrong. I think it can definitely shape someone's perceptions or someone's perspectives like that. Because I know, I think, and you mentioned sort of parenting, and I think definitely if it's a situation of like weak parenting or non-existent parenting, I know, at least from my personal experience with my family, my cousins are sort of, it's kind of like that sort of freewheeling, like, yeah, sure, do whatever you want type of parenting. And then, afterwards would come down with like, no, that's wrong.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I've seen the effects of that and how a lot of things that I would consider wrong, or it's like, you should probably, like, that's not safe, that's not right, that's, like, things that I've sort of been raised to avoid, to try to whatever, they don't really have those controls or those, I don't know, those habits in place to be sort of, I don't know, successful, safe, moral, people 100% of the time. And I can see how, not just Wolf of Wall Street, but I mean, media in general, or films or video games or whatnot, they're not necessarily going to make you, oh yeah, I want to go out and like kill somebody, or I want to go out and do quaaludes, or I want to do this or do that. But I mean, it does shape your opinion of like, if I ever had the chance to do that, or it shapes, your goals or what you want to do in life. So, I mean, yeah, I think if that, like, I think the more influence media has in a person's life, the shakier off they're going to be, or the worse they're going to be. I think you definitely need more of those figures in people's lives that can be sort of an anchor, or sort of draw you back.
Yeah, so like if you have a kid who's like watching Wolf of Wall Street and all these war movies and playing Grand Theft Auto all the time, like, and doesn't have that that role model, or you would say that would
somebody to pull you back,
or to at least tell you or like this is not.
It's like that's hyperbole, like that's not real life. That's not how the real world works. It's one of the extremes. I think, definitely, like, media, when you lack that kind of anchor, that kind of person to pull you back from the extremes. Because I'm also a big supporter of compromise and making sure that, like, you're not swaying too far in any direction. I mean, because if you go too far in any direction, you're going to start to get a little loopy or a little crazy.
Yeah.
But.
All right.
Okay, is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, great.
All right, there you go. Sorry for being a pain in the ass with turning it in, but you know how I am with procrastination. So your class, it's the way you teach is different. Not many teachers have that kind of style in college, at least from my experience, because I'm only a freshman. But I've had several classes that are about the same size as yours, and none of the teachers, granted, they weren't teaching English 190, so they didn't really have the chance to teach the same way that you were, but every now and then, it sounds kind of bad, but like it's good, because it seems like every now and then you have like a kind of like shut up and listen to me, like I am trying to help you. Like most teachers, I think they think that it's just understood that the student knows that they're trying to help them, which is not. Most of the time, it's the students are always like, oh, I'm just getting boned by my professor. He's unfair, and a lot of times they're true. Like, if if, if every teacher went around taking off 50 points for formatting in APA style as opposed to MLA, then everyone would hate their teachers. But you recognize that there is a more important reason for teaching your students other than a job. Like, I mean, it is your job, but you go beyond that, and that's what carries. That's what I'm gonna remember from the classes, or at least from. I mean, we have discussions, and we will probably continue to have discussions for the next 3 years about the randomest shit. But the point is, I don't know. You just like everyone from that class. I mean, granted, I'm sure it wasn't Lucas's favorite class, but he definitely enjoys that way more than going to any of his other classes. Like, you actually take the time to. I mean, the fact that your class isn't structured really helps it, because you get into these arguments with your students, and while it might seem to take away from what we would normally be learning, like Audrey says, like, oh, are we actually going to learn anything today, or is what? And sorry, I wasn't sure if my roommate too. But I mean, it might seem bad that it's not structured, but at the same time, not being confined to a specific schedule allows for so much more. And I hate the books. I'm sorry. Like, that was the one thing I hated, was the fact that we had, like, I mean, you did, like, for chapter 3, I think it was, you said to look at that when we're trying to come up with ideas of using your project. But other than that, books weren't really, they were, not only were they not necessary, but especially for the amount of time that we used them. I mean, we only used them, I found someone's little seagull in the little seagull book in the trash. They'd thrown it out, and it was still in the shrink wrap. And I didn't use it either. If I'm ever going to use or if I ever need to know formatting stuff, I'm going to go to Purdue OWL, just because it's so much more easier, or so much easier to access, or to access. I don't know if that's up to you or the department or what, but the I mean, I'm a fan of your class. Like, that's the one class that I look forward to every week. But I mean, the 8 a.m. Yeah, that's rough. I would I would steer clear of that. I'm not sure if you have any, choices over what time your class is, but I would avoid 8 a.m.s at all costs. I mean, a lot of times it's no one was ready for it. And I'm just trying to think. I mean, because we did have some very good debates in that class. Maybe not English related, but actually, the majority of the times, probably not English related. But they always had some purpose to it. There was always, there's always a reason to the discussion. It wasn't just a bunch of nonsense thrown together. Yeah. And I thank you for being lenient with me in my, in my late paper turning in. Depending on what day you watch this, you probably receive my 5-page reflection and, I don't know, one of the rewrites, probably for the analytical sources or whatever it is. Some of the assignments that we had, like when we were trying to figure out paper topics, we had five assignments, and they all had the same purpose. But I mean, you made us do all of them, even if we already had. I mean, I understand coming up with a topic for the big Kahuna project was, a major thing. Like it wasn't just like, oh, pick a topic and write about it. It was pick a topic and know every little detail about that topic. So I understand why we did it. It's just, even after even if you found it seemed really redundant to do it over and over and over again. Even if you found your topic in the first assignment. But I mean, for most of it, it was. I mean, pretty much all of it was very well put together. I mean, not that we followed the structure of the class at all. And I'm obsessed with rhetoric. Maybe no one else is, but my friend came, or I was talking to my friend yesterday, and she's a communications major. We had the same communications 100 teacher. I'm taking it now. She took her last semester, but I told her that, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, the rhetoric." And I'm like, "Oh, don't even get me started." Like, because so some of the things, I'm not sure if the Walter Ong article was, if you use that for rhetoric or not, but I mean, either way, I love that aspect of the class, but whether or not, I mean, you'd have to test it yourself, because I don't know, or I don't know if you've gotten feedback from anyone else about the uses of rhetoric in the class, but I loved it. I thought it was great. Then again, that will be my concentration in the English major. So, there's a reason. But other than that, I can't really think of too many criticisms. Yeah, it was good. I think for a lot of people, it was the one class that they did look forward to, because you allowed for. It sounds worse than it actually is. Like, you allowed students to get away with certain things that they wouldn't be able to in other classes, but at the same time, once you allowed them to get away with something, you did expect something. You expected quality work. Yeah. So I mean, just overall great class. I mean, I've been recommending you to just about everyone I know. So sorry if that heightens your popularity. Um, but yeah, I'm just kind of annoyed that we couldn't have a class based around the discussions that we have, like, when we're not in class, because those are my favorite. Yeah, I love talking to you outside of class, just because, I don't know, we get on those weird tangents, and I still feel that George Carlin is better than Louis C.K. I actually had my English teacher, the one who I was talking rhetoric with. I had her explain to me why Louis C.K. like what the difference is between Louis C.K. and um, uh, wow, can't remember, George Carlin. Thank you. Jeez, it's morning. Um, so yeah, thanks for a great semester, or year, I guess. And I will definitely be seeing you around. Yeah, I don't think you're getting out of those arguments just yet, because I'm gonna find reasons that George Carlin is better. So be ready. Um, and I'll probably email you a few times over the summer, um, just because I'll probably be looking up random stuff on rhetoric and what I'll be doing for the next 3 years. So, and I'll probably have another class. Oh, and yeah, I'm taking the language, or the technology and writing, or whatever that class is that you're teaching. I'm taking with that other professor. So, all right. Well, have a good summer, Brooks, and I'll see you around.